Hasbro, if you know a speeder bike's gonna be a guaranteed sell for me, why aren't you putting out a Tuscan Raider on a Swwop Bike from Book of Boba? Hey toy fans, I'm here with another toy review. I'm looking at something of the Star Wars flavor. Now, I said the Swwop bikes and air bikes, those sorts of things, they're always gonna be a big sell for me. I don't know why. I love these Star Wars motorcycle S-type toys. So I happened across this on Amazon. It was about $30 and I had to go ahead and get it. This is one where I do have the 3 3/4 inch version from the Solo movie with the Force Link. And then I had to get the 6 inch vehicle version of it as well. Now, I really happen to like this character. I think that she, without giving away too much, is a really interesting character, and I like the gang. I think one thing that gets me about this is there's a part of me that really wants them to make more of these gang characters, especially to go on the bike, since apparently there's a feature here that's not really talked about too much. The toy that is in question right now is Enfy Ness and her Swwop Bike. Now, this is, I mean, already the Black Series has got some beautiful packaging, but to have the window here with Enfy there, I've been waiting to get this out of box and really check it out. So, before we get into that review, if you haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe now. Hit that like button below, comment down below. I love chatting back with you all, and hit that bell for notifications. What do you say? Let's get into it. And this is Enfy Ness on her Swwop Bike from the Star Wars Black Series by Hasbro. I love the way that these are set up. And at first, when the 6 inch scale came out, I was a little apprehensive about it because I already had so much invested into the 3 3/4 inch scale figures. But as I started kind of getting into it and really checking these figures out, I really like the detail and the articulation that they're able to put into these particular figures. They're very, very nice. Now, this is number 5 out of the series of vehicles. There's not a lot in the 6 inch scale. You're kind of dealing with like the Scout on a indoor speeder. You've got Luke and his land speeder. You've got Rey on her land speeder. A stormtrooper on a dewback, and then of course Enfy Ness and the Swwop Bike. So there's not a lot, and the reason why is because these are highly detailed. They become very expensive, and they're big. And I have a feeling this is probably the biggest one out of the group. Now you get some good detail here of it's almost like a scratchboard type drawing of Enfy on the Swwop Bike. You get a detail of the speeder down here, an actual photograph of the toy here as well with Enfy in front, and then an open window where you get to see the figure, the accessory, and the rest is just design work about the bike itself. Let's take a look at the top. On the top of this, we get another photo of that speeder bike. And of course, Star Wars Black Series, so we know where it's from. You get one side that's red, that's number 5. One side that has another drawing of Enfy. And then going to the back, we get this work here, where we get number 5, a little blurb about Enfy, who she is in the gang, and pictures of all the features that the bike has, including a stand that makes it look like it's floating, the figure holding the weapon, a engine detail, pegs or little feet things for the figures to stand in, a place for you to put the weapon, and that tilting base. There's a lot to this particular toy. Now this is the box, and it's not going to tell us anything else about this figure. We need to get this open and get to playing. Now that I got this side of the box open, I actually want to take a little video of how it's packed inside, because it's a very nice set. Once you get it initially out of the package, we've got this set up here. Swwop Bike's in here. We get some instructions in there. Enfy over here on kind of a card thing that she'll pop out. There's a little baggie back here that has parts. Of course, our cloud width that's going to hold this up, and then the vanes in here. And judging at it at this point, like this bike from this point fills up all of this area of the box already. And then we have the vane in the front. I have a feeling this thing is going to be so large, we're not going to be able to get it all on the sweep itself. Let's see. All right, and of course, getting everything out of the package, we end up with our Enfy Nest figure. And I love the cape work on this, and even like the hood. This is pretty stellar. I'll check out the articulation on this here in a little bit, but I love the way this figure looks. This is great. So we get Enfy. We get Enfy's vibro blade saw. We get, of course, the bike body. It's all here, and this thing is huge. It's really big. We get the control vane. So we get this whole portion here, and it is long. Like I said, this is going to be a huge piece. We get the cloud whiff that this is going to be floating on. And then we get an assortment of parts. We get those like 2 little pieces that work together to work with the handlebars, and then the forward vane itself. And then we got our little instruction book that tells us how to put all this together. Pretty basic stuff. You know what though? I'm going to bypass this, and I think I'm going to do my whole click thing to get us where we need to go. Let's see, and there you go. This thing is huge. I've already measured it. It actually measures out a little over 20 inches long from the very, very tip top of this, way down here where these veins are, all the way to these back engines. There is a lot of Swwop Bike here, and it's pretty impressive with what they were able to do. So on this, of course, you've got that tilting base there, so you can tilt it wherever you want, you know, have it posed up. And then of course you've got these moving platforms here, so you can actually bring the actual foot guards up to the feet. And it works out because if you have a figure that's taller than Enfy, you're able to extend this up to the feet, which is really nice. There is a pluggable rack on either side that holds Enfy's vibro chainsaw axe thing here. And then there's so much detail. Now this thing is rendered with a ton of like soft wires, extra pieces that are housed on. The whole engine block here has hoses that come out and go down into different areas of this housing. It's amazing. We do get some paint app on here with little parts of the engine here, along the back, and what looks like a couple removable little spear pieces here. Now, I'm not sure if that's meant to be removed, but they did make it removable. We do have some air brakes here, though there's a part of me that kind of wishes that these would have folded out, so that way we could have had a little bit more articulation with pieces on this particular bike. Now, with this, we do actually get, some movable areas here with the pistons, where they move here, and then they move one into the other. The housing here does hinder this and causes these to kind of push out a little bit more. So it's a little weird. Let's take Enfy off and let's just look at the bike real quick. Now on the bike itself, we've got articulation here, the foot pegs, and then of course all of the detail here. See, there's the other rack on the other side. Now none of these pieces move. They're all very static. But you do have these kind of gummy footholds that go on each side. And I really feel like this is meant to have like 1 foot housing here, 1 foot housing here, because there is one rider that rides with her on the back of this bike. And I believe he rides either across here or over to the side. Now looking on the back, we do get those nice engines, though we don't get any paint app here. And I really feel like these should have had scorch marks or some sort of burning on there just to age these up a little bit. We do have some nice like silver sharp painting here to show damage, and even damage with the paint, which is really nice. And then a lot of beautiful sculpting work down here into the body of this thing. Go on to the other side if I can. We get some different readers here, maybe some guns. I know there's like a gun up at the front. And just a lot of beautiful detail in this. One of the things that I did notice with mine, I had some plastic stressing when I first got this out right there. So that's something you might see a little bit with this kind of tan plastic. Even the readout here for Enfy, you've got all the buttons here. This probably could have used a little bit of paint app on there just to make those buttons show up and shine. I'd like to see that. But all in all, some absolutely gorgeous sculpting and some really, really nice detail on here, and including, you know, very basic but still nice paint applications. Now, Enfy has the vibro chainsaw staff, which I like, but one of the things that's bothered me and bothered a lot of people is that there's absolutely no paint app on it, and that's something that's been kind of bothersome, because even though that this piece for the most part is just a kind of a metallized look in the movie, there's still some areas where we could have had like maybe a touch of silver, maybe a touch of blue on the edge where it shows like the actual vibro piece coming up, or even maybe just a black wash to darken it down just a little bit. It'd have been nice to have some other colors to it other than just a silver kind of shiny, not even like a silver plastic, it's more like just gray. Now with Enfy. Enfy, of course, has all the articulation of a 6-inch figure. She has the ball jointed arms, well, ball hinged elbows, ball hinged wrists, but this time we get the rocker that pushes the wrist forward instead of up and down. We get, of course, the rocker kind of ball jointed waist, not a waist, but the chest here, which is good because this actually helps articulate these figures up and down. No waist crunch or waist articulation. We do get that ball kind of hinge here in the hips. We do get a thigh cut, which works out, though it's still relatively close. Of course, we get the double knee articulation. No shin cut, but we do have the rocker ankles and then the turnable feet on those ankles. The detail on this is absolutely amazing, and the paint application looks incredible. I really like this figure. Now with the shields, we don't get anything that makes these flex out, and all the pieces are actually glued down, so there's nothing that's really hindering any articulation here. These don't keep the thighs from moving. These don't keep the arms from moving. This isn't keeping the waist from being crunched down. Because of the heaviness of the fur and the cape, there is a little bit of loss of articulation with the head looking forward and kind of side to side with that cape. But I do like the way they made the cape, and I'm glad it's not done in plastic. Now, this apparently is a ball jointed neck, but I'm more afraid of breaking my head off, so I'm not going to try to remove that cape. All in all, I think this is a great figure. I really dig it, and I dig the vehicle as well. It's gonna be hard pressing to find a place to put this, and honestly I've got one hanging from the ceiling, so this might be one that I kind of play with a little bit before I have to hang it up or put it in a spot where it's easily obtainable for me. I really like this, and this being my first Black Series vehicle, I think that this was a step in the right direction. The issues with the figure, besides for, you know, some of the engine block, it's Bo said it has an engine block that's available to look at. The problem with the engine block is that it's not really hinged the way they show it. It's attached only by the cylinders and it's pegged into place, which is something that's a little bothersome. I know that we got foot pegs for other figures, and I'm really hoping that Hasbro at least puts out another one of the Cloud Rider gang members, because I would love to put one on the back of the cycle with Enfy. Enfy is a little short in order to get to those foot pedals, but I do like that the bike is kind of adjustable to adjust for her size in order for her to kind of get up to the controls. All in all, I think this looks great. I would have preferred a little bit more paint app. And that kind of goes with the, burners, some of the damage, and definitely that vibro chainsaw that she has. But all in all, it's a beautiful piece and definitely worth a $30, $36 price point if you're able to find it on Amazon for that much. Now, this toy is still available out there on Amazon, so if you happen to go looking for it, good luck with the toy hunt. This episode of Teireikan was sponsored by Marvin Dog Media. To learn more about Marvin Dog Media, visit www.marvindogmedia.com. If you liked the video, be sure to hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Comment down below to let YouTube know that you like what I'm making. And be sure to hit that bell notification so you get updates to future content.